Welcome to Project Library Planet. Today we're in Helsinki in Library 10. This is a music library, but you can also find books and lots of different stuff here. As you can see behind me, you can see right to the bottom of the library where lots of different events, performances and concerts sometimes take place, which you can see right from the entrance. You come into the library and you see what's going on here. Here in the entrance area you have a coffee machine, some book return stations and an area where you can read newspapers. You can read newspapers both on paper and on a big screen here or on an iPad if you think that's more comfortable. And now we're talking to Harry, who will tell us a little bit more about this library. Hi.
Hello.
So I see that you're right in front of the train station. Does it influence how you work in any way?
I wouldn't say specifically the way we work, no, but it does have a definite influence on what we do here, some of the collections that we have, and some of the customers that we have to take into account. I mean, it definitely brings in a broader customer base than just a normal library user that might be a local library. Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of people usually come here?
Well, we have tourists from abroad, for example, that whether they come from plane or by sea, however they come, they'll often come by here. Of course, then the domestic tourists, people that live in Helsinki and are traveling outside to other cities in Finland or to other countries, or then people from Finland that travel to Helsinki. So we have a lot of customers that come to use our library, briefly, and this is then reflected in things in part of our collections. We have a lot of travel guides here. We don't have a lot of books in general, but travel guides are one area that we do focus on. We have internet service that goes beyond just library users. These are for people that don't have a library membership. They can come and use the computer for 15 minutes. They might print train tickets out, bus tickets. They often come and ask about time schedules, just a variety of different services that they specifically bring extra as opposed to normal library users.
Is it sometimes a problem or a nuisance that there is a train station nearby?
No, actually, I don't see it as a nuisance. No, it really brings it makes for more challenging work, and it brings us a different workload because we are very centrally located. So we are, I would say, one thing. We are a logistics center. I mean, we're a very small library, but because we are at the main train station here, people that go to work or leave back home, students that come into the city, they come and drop their materials off at our library, for example. They don't necessarily use the library services any more than that, except come and pick up. They might pick their reservations up or just leave their materials. So it does make us a very heavily used library for logistics. We have music is the primary collection that we have here, CDs, an immense amount, but we also have music notations, books about musicians, of course, and we have normal fiction and some non-fiction here as well, but some of the special items that we have, books, but there are special collections like a bestseller collection, which means there's a 2-week loan period and they cannot be reserved. And this is mostly just to offer library patrons that come into the library that there's always something new and fresh here, some new materials, not just the books the classics that have been out for decades.
Yeah.
So we have things, of course, in-house. We have musical instruments you can loan. We also have the board games. So board games have become really popular here in the past few years. So we actually have them on loan, but people can take them out of the library for 2 weeks at a time.
And what about musical instruments? Can you check them out as well?
The musical instruments we have are mostly for in-house loans. So we have a couple of studios, a rehearsal room that people can use, and the musical instruments are mostly to be used in-house there. So a lot of people do bring their own instruments, so they don't always use our instruments necessarily.
Work here, professional musicians?
Well, I would say that's a secondary thing. I mean, everyone here, pretty much the permanent staff members are all library professionals. They have library training, schooling, all at some level, some more than others, of course. As a background or as a hobby, there are a lot of musicians that do play here, or people that are in general very interested in music. So it's definitely where the hobby is part of the work and the work is almost part of the hobby. So it's a real natural fit with the staff members here and what we do here.
So if I don't know much about music, I can come and consult one of the librarians and I can learn more about it.
Well, of course, I mean, that's what we do here as librarians. You know, people have questions, we help them with what they're looking for. If they have a specific question about music, of course we help them.
But you have a special program for that, right?
Yep, yeah, absolutely. That's called it's a music coach is what we offer as a service for patrons. You know, they want to learn something more about a certain genre of music, for example. They want to learn about jazz, they're not familiar with jazz, or they want to know what the difference between rock music and punk music is, for example. So we have contact information. They can contact us and express what they would like to learn. And we have a wide variety of expertise in our staff. Everyone has a specialty of music that they really like and they know well. So we'll direct this person to one of the appropriate staff members, and the staff member will set up a little informal training course for this person. Nothing formal that you have to take tests and anything like this, but just that we'll bring some examples of the music, explain a little bit of the background, why this is unique, and also, of course, then we first have an interview with them to find how deep they want to learn this new music. Is it just a little bit to explain it, or do they really want to learn the small nuances of the kind of music? Sure. We actually have a room that's dedicated for this that we will then reserve the time. The librarian and the customer will meet there, and they'll have a private chance to just listen to the music which the librarian will bring. Kind of get to know that music style, get to hear some examples, and if the customer is interested, there'll be a package of CDs that they can take home with them.
Wow.
And if they want to then, after that, come back, have more questions, learn more, it can still be brought even further then.
So who decides what the library is going to be like? The librarians or the users?
A little bit of both, but I think we really try and make an emphasis on taking user experience and user opinions into what we do and how we function here at the library. One example is that we've had, it's a small example, but the way we shelve certain materials. Jazz, for example, we used to have it shelved alphabetically by artists, but then we found that a lot of people search for the materials through the subgenres, bebop, fusion. But then after we switched to this, some customers again had hoped for the alphabetical method of organizing these.
Yeah.
So basically, in the end, we decided to give it to the users, let them decide, and we actually put a voting box here so that customers that use these materials, they could specifically vote themselves and decide how they want the items to be shelved.
And so they decided to have it by genre.
They decided to have it by genre, and we made a compromise with the others, that we have a few of the better named artists, bigger named artists, we have them with it alphabetically, but in general we kept with the majority and they wanted it by genre.
So how do you get user feedback? A voting box is one way. Do you have any other ways?
We use traditional questionnaires and these kind of forms where people can fill out their experiences. We have feedback box, online feedback as well. Probably the biggest and it's most common way we get feedback is just by talking to the users a lot, asking them, you know, what do they find useful? Do they have any new ideas? What they like? And they're more than ready to tell us what kind of things they like and what they would like. They see the library in a different way than we do, being the users.
Have you ever had any suggestions from users? For example, people come in and saying, I want this service or this event here.
Well, events definitely, especially we have a dedicated area for that. We have a stage here, so we want people to use the library. The library, it's a public space. The library is their space. So definitely for events, people come and they want to hold events, groups, individuals, of course. As for smaller services or individual services, then of course we have to take into account other things. You know, how much does it require the staff and what have not. But we've had these smaller things added into some of the normal things that we do, of course.
Here we are at the Library 10 stage, as we call it, and what happens here is the concerts, panels, discussions, workshops, and even some sporting events for old people and some dancing. And we also have art exhibition, which changes every 2 weeks, which is open for everybody. But there's a queue of 2 years to the wall, so it's very popular. About 80% of the events are by the urban dwellers, not by the library, but the people of the city. Because in here, back here, we have the what we call as a vinyl bar, as it looks like a bar. You can order drinks there, by the way. But anyways, you can transfer your old cassettes, LPs, vinyl records to CD, and we also have another service where you can transfer your old video cassettes to DVD. And you can also listen to music over there, and it's also connected to our PA system that when there's a concert here, we'll play some music from there. Like we can have guest DJs playing music. That's what we do almost every concert here. And there have been some famous DJs playing sometimes on like a special public event or summer holidays or something like that. So what's happening here. We also provide technical assistance for our musicians and everybody. So if you come here, we'll do the sound. You just need to bring yourself and your instrument here. So that's the way it works here. So.
Wow, and what is this zone?
This area is called Suvanto, which translates literally as backwaters. It's like a soft, quiet area of a river. It's meant to be a tranquil oasis, an area where people in the center of the city can come, relax. It's meant to be quiet, a little bit isolated from the traffic of the rest of the library. We have set up little audio showers here, so under each one of these, there's a place that someone can come here and just hear the music or sounds that come only to them, and that drains out the other sounds.
Wow, so you can stand here or sit here and listen to this, but not hear what's going on there in the library.
Yeah, and the people here will not hear what you're hearing either.
You can't hear what I'm hearing now?
No.
Cool.
Yeah, we have different kinds of images. These rotate from the internet. We put these from YouTube, just kind of on a rotating basis, different feelings. We also have a colored wall here. This wall actually slowly rotates and changes colors during the daytime. Yeah.
Wow.
We have a tactile rug here. This is very, very soft, and
yes.
as you walk along it, it almost massages your feet. It's fantastic, actually.
Cool. And what is this thing?
This is actually a yoga hammock. So people can get themselves in here, and people actually do use it. So you can go spread this out and lie in there and just relax, read a book, or just wait until the lunch hour is over and go back to work.
Wow, that's really nice. What a cool place to relax in the middle of all the rush and the stress.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a fantastic place. People love to come here, and they've told us it's wonderful that there's a place right in the center of the city where they can actually come and for some quiet time, and that's a real advantage to what we have here with this little enclave.
Yeah, so it's very popular, this place?
Yeah, it's very popular. Unfortunately, it's not big that we could have more people that could enjoy this, but it is popular, definitely.
There's a lot of things you can do in this library. You can read, you can go to a concert, listen to some music, live music. You can have a meeting, study here, work on your project along with other people, or you can rehearse with your band. But I think this room is the room that I like most, where you can just relax and take a break from the rush of the city. So bye-bye and see you in another library.